Hello Art Guild, welcome to my studio. Today we're going to be making a comic strip, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what I want you to do to get that going. So first off, with a comic strip, comics are intended to tell a story, and they're telling a story that is primarily used with pictures. But we're going to break those pictures up into chunks so that each picture tells a specific portion of our story. So I'm going to start with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay. So for my example, in the beginning, in the middle, the end, we're going to have, I think, 3 different frames. And I'm going to draw a couple of different frames here. 1, 2. And then for my middle, I'm going to have 2 more, or another frame. 1. And I'm drawing 2 of these because one's going to be like a rough draft, one will be a more final draft. And then here's my end frame. So each drawing that I put into these boxes is going to represent beginning here, middle here, and end here. Okay, so that's the layout of making a comic. Now, before we get into making this comic, I want to also talk about characters and character development. So we want to ask ourselves, like, who are these characters? So who's in it? And like maybe some background information about them, like what are they doing, and maybe even why they're doing it. So I'm going to create 2 characters. Simply, I'm going to start with a body, and this person is going to be a snowboarder, and I'm just going to call him Joe. So there's Joe. And I'm going to have him talking to another snowboarder, friend of his. And his name is going to be Jet. So you can tell the difference between Joe and Jet. Joe's wearing a pointy hat and Jet's wearing sort of a square hat. I'm going to also just make a little note here that Jet is fast, so maybe his t-shirt says fast. And I could even say something here like, I don't know, I could put something on Joe's shirt to sort of give a description of who he might be. And then these 2 characters are going to be talking. When you really want to develop a character, though, something that's going to help a lot is it helps to be able to draw a character from multiple angles. So I'd recommend you taking a little bit of time to draw your character from different angles, because it's going to help you be able to have the ability to change the situations you can put your character in, you know, and make it so that you can use this character to really tell a story.
Joe, how do you know that those are snowboarders?
We don't yet, but they are going to be snowboarders. This is a part of my story. So my story, which hopefully you guys read about it a little bit. My story is in the document, in the Guild's document, and the story is about how there was this time when I really wanted to hit this big jump. That's me, Joe, and I was talking about it with my friends, and so talking about jump. So talking about the jump, and I might be saying something like, I totally got this. It's going to be totally sick and easy, and maybe bragging a little bit. And then the second one is like testing the jump. So jump, testing the jump, so checking it out, maybe riding up to it, and then this is going to be actually, or even accidentally, going off the jump. Because in my story, I was telling my friends how awesome I am and how I can hit this jump and it's no big deal. And then I just go up to test the jump before I realize I'm going too fast. And then all of a sudden I'm flying through the air and I end up in a big puff of cloud of snow in the end. So anyway, so talking about the jump, I think this might be a picture of the main character, Joe, with the pointy hat, saying, oh, and you know, Joe's also got crazy hair. So that's something I'm adding to my character. So drawing a picture, taking my time, talking to Jet with that hat about, and he's gonna say, and so you can do these little like bubble letters, so it's kind of like you draw a V and then you make it into a circle, and he's gonna be saying, I totally got this. And then he might be saying, I don't know. It's pretty big. Okay, and then the next frame is, and I might even put up here in the corner, this helps like identify what's going on in the frame. I could say this is the test. Okay, so that's showing me it's the test. And then all of a sudden here is my jump. And maybe there's a picture of Joe coming down on the snowboard. And you know, when I'm drawing this character, I'm just doing it piece by piece. You know, you can see I'm drawing the head first, and then I'm drawing the body and the legs and then the arms. And then maybe you can just tell that this is our friend Jet here, and there might be a little bubble here that says, too fast. Okay, so that I'm going off the jump this direction. And then a picture of in the air. And this is the moment where I'm panicking. And what happens when I panic is I get stiff as a board and I lose my ability to ride a snowboard well. And the best part of this might be that he's doing this thing that a lot of you probably know. This is called rolling up the windows. So I'm going to make some lines that show that my arms are moving. My eyes are really big. Ah! And that is the look of terrified because I'm flying through the air. And maybe this person's saying something. Maybe he's saying, oh no, too big. That's the moment when you see it. And then you can tell all of a sudden I have run out of space. So I might need a fourth square to finish this comic, right? So maybe this is intended to be my rough draft down here, but maybe instead of that being the end of it, I'll just continue this comic and I'll do a final draft of this comic on another paper. I'll make some changes to my comic and make it a little bit better. But maybe the last one is the jumps in the background. Oops, that's kind of a funny looking jump. But there's the jump in the background. And then down here, I'm gonna have some lines that kind of come down to it. And then this is the big puff of snow with things kind of flying all over and out of it. And this little thing here is gonna say poof. All right. And then, you know, if I wanted to, I could even continue this and have another picture of Joe talking again with Jet, being like, you know, talking about how it was. Maybe in this picture, the character is a little bit beat up, or even has like his arm in a sling or something like that. So you can tell the story of what happened to Joe in this last frame. So I hope this gives you an idea of how to develop specific things that are going to help you identify which characters are who, and then also breaking your picture up into beginnings, middles, and ends so that you have a clear story arc for your comic, and then figuring out what are the best pictures to draw for that specific part of the story. All right, you guys have fun. I look forward to seeing your comics next Friday.